From Neville Goddard's 1970 lecture, He is Dreaming Now. Question. After one is awakened, and he has left the garment on earth and he returns home, what is he doing? What does he do? Answer. What does he do? He creates, my dear, and contemplates this world of death. As Blake said it so beautifully, those in great eternity who contemplate on death say it thus: what seems to be is to those to whom it seems to be, and is productive of the most dreadful consequence to those to whom it seems to be even of torments, despair, and eternal death. But divine mercy steps beyond and redeems man in the body of Jesus. They are part of the brotherhood, the redeemed body, and contemplate this world, letting it be to those who want it to be. So Neville says, those who have passed on, returning to the great brotherhood, they contemplate this world. And perhaps in that contemplation, they will find themselves born into another wake dream, a dream of life. Although some who have spiraled up in consciousness, who have become masters of their imagination, thoughts, perhaps they are able to watch the dream of life without becoming immersed in it, the same way we can watch the sky, watching the clouds pass by. Neville goes on to say, tonight a man who has $1 billion, well, he can't think for one moment. He wouldn't for one moment think of death. He doesn't want to die. He wants to live here forever, though the body gets older and older and weaker and weaker. He wants to live here forever with his $1 billion. He knows he has to leave it behind him, and he's breaking his brains not to, and wondering how to protect it in the right channel. He builds himself portraits of himself, always glamorous portraits. Compare the original to the portrait. Well, you'd faint if you thought these two are the same, but he has to have that for posterity. He builds himself like Stalin. Stalin had thousands and thousands, and Hitler thousands and thousands of statues of themselves. They renamed the rivers, they renamed the cities. Stalingrad is now Volgograd. He wasn't yet cold when they renamed it for him. And all the rivers are renamed. And the fellows put the little things around their head and broke the statues and smashed them. He never thought that would ever happen. And so, as Neville says, we become lost in the dream and we don't want to wake up. And while in the dream, especially when we have the things we want to have, we do all kinds of things to try to preserve it, to preserve our legacy. And Neville went on how common this is, how so many people do this, and so many people follow such people. And people are still carried away with these stupid little leaders, and pick themselves up, and like sheep, they will follow anything. You know, if you took a sheep as the leader, at sea, and took the leader, and threw the leader overboard, all the sheep would follow and jump overboard. That's a fact. That is a fact. And that's what man does, just like the sheep, but they don't know it. So Neville is telling you to stop following, especially just because something is popular. And what he wants you to do is to dwell upon the eternal story that it take place in you. So he is telling you not to be distracted by all that you see on the outside. No matter how much people want the dream to go on forever and ever, there is something more eternal, profound, whole, complete, truly what deep down inside we all yearn for, our true home. If you want the little things, you can have them, but don't get lost in them, don't become owned by them. Before all that, remember your eternal nature. What were you before this dream? What will you return to when you wake from this dream of life, this wake dream? A good modern-day example would probably be Eckhart Tolle, how he can balance the spiritual with the material. And so can you. How does it feel to balance knowing what you are, and yet having all that you want to have in the dream of life, yet realizing it is what it is, and that its life is born from you, your consciousness. And now, let us go into the silence. Good.